comes to a personal brand, then it's usually how we're showing up.
Yeah.
It's part of how we dress, how we speak, and then how we are visible to the world, whether that's through our LinkedIn profile, through our social media.
And a lot of people out here should be invisible. But I said on another podcast, and I didn't get shut down for this, but I really truly believe that only exceptional people will do well. And I think to grow a business successfully in this part of the world, you need to be exceptional.
What makes somebody exceptional?
Somebody who understands, how do I stand out? So I need to do something different. The willingness, the attitude, the mindset, the gravitas, the voice that goes with it, that's going to carry them through this.
And I think that's the problem, is that most people are not prepared to put the work in.
Because they're lazy.
Yes.
And not exceptional.
Hey, I'm Lisa Hugo, and I am obsessed with helping other people find their voices so they can go out and take on the world, be seen as an authority, an expert, and grow their business by sharing that knowledge and expertise with others. Now, I studied performing arts, and I spent 20 years of my career traveling the world as a professional singer-songwriter. I teach you the secrets to speak up and be heard, overcome your fears, and then use these skills to build a business and a life that you love and that could change both your own life and the lives of others. This is your one-stop shop for all things that are going to help you to build a life on your terms. This is Impact Through Voice.
Welcome back to the Impact Through Voice podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Hugo. I'm in the studio today with Lucy Bradley. Lucy is the brand commander of Plug Design. So I'm going to hand over to her. But before we get started, I used to work with Lucy as a singing coach. And so we haven't done our warm-ups before today's episode. So we're going to just warm up with a few nice, gentle lip rolls. Are you ready?
If I can still do them.
So for any of you watching it, it's a great warm-up before you need to go on. But normally you do it before you come on the podcast. Okay, Lucy, tell us who you are and what you do and who you work with.
My name is Lucy, and as you said, I'm the brand commander for Plug. I am celebrating next week 22 years in the UAE. There you go.
22 years.
22 years. And I haven't aged.
No, you look amazing.
Oh,
it's been a long time since I've seen you. So it's nice to catch up on camera.
On camera.
Okay, but tell us more about what you, as a brand commander, it's an unusual term that you've given yourself there, what you actually do.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I always think, when you're running a business, so I am a business owner, but I think you should start with the job title. So if you think about when you're going out networking, building relationships, if you just say, oh, hi, I'm the CEO, I'm the MD, I'm the owner, the founder, everyone's got those titles already. So as a tactical marketeer, which is what I do, I think you need to start with the smallest things because they have the biggest impact. So whenever I present my card, people go, oh, wow, brand commander, what does that mean? Well, commanding brands, tactical marketing, standing out. But that's always the hook that people remember.
Yep.
Dear brand commander, it was great to meet you last night. I quite like it when they do that. But again, if I was just the CEO, the founder, the owner, managing director, the MD, whatever, I don't think it would be as remembered. And in business, we're all about being remembered.
100%.
And standing out.
Yep.
And saying inappropriate things, or is that just me?
I think that's just
That's
you.
just me.
So be careful.
I'm
we don't know
owning
what's
it.
going to come up on this podcast today.
I don't know either. The problem is it starts as a little thought, but then there's a voice on this side that tells me to say it.
And that gets you into trouble sometimes.
Well, I don't care because normally I've walked away by then. So let's see how we get on.
Let's see how we get on. But I like what you're saying there about when you're presenting yourself or you're introducing yourself at a networking event, and I work with a lot of my clients on exactly this.
Yeah.
Just imagine you're introducing yourself to a new group of people.
Yeah.
It's your turn to stand up. You've got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
And most people will say, well, yes, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, or I've got this many years of experience and I've been in Dubai for this long. It's boring.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You need that intriguing elevator pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The elevator
or a
pitch.
fancy title, or I change people's lives by XYZ.
Exactly. Or
I do this. I help you do this. It's all about figuring out the problem, and then you solve it.
I love that. What's the problem and what's the solution?
Yeah.
And only as marketers we
Yeah.
think that way.
Yeah.
No, I've never been a marketer before. I first started working with you, I guess about 6 years ago, perhaps, to do some of my branding,
Yep.
create new logos, looking at websites, and you were doing some promotional material for me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't my forte.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say I have learned so much over the last 5 years, and you even gave me a compliment on my email writing. And I've become really passionate about digital marketing. Now, digital marketing and your kind of marketing, they're quite different. Tactical marketing. Tell us, what is tactical marketing?
Tactical marketing is when we're really, really targeted. So we know who we're trying to reach. So, for example, we're trying to reach CEOs in, let's just say, the wellness space, businesses in the wellness space, health and wellness, and then narrowing it down. So this is when I call it a dream list. You might have remembered this from my masterclass. And then we narrow it down to the company. So if we're targeting the UAE, for example, looking at those companies, company A, B, C, D, listing them out. Right, who's the person in the company that we need to talk to? Because we can't talk to info at. We need to know exactly who we're talking to. So then we find out, John Smith, this company, what are the tactics? Are we going to dance around on social? John, I'm here. Do you like me? No. Or are we going to go in and start marketing to them? Again, they've got a problem. I can solve it. Do I have what they need? Can I help them? Yes, I can. And maybe we don't know at this point. Maybe we don't know, but we're never going to know unless we give it a go. So going in after these people, sending something physical perhaps, sending something that is just for them. Maybe it's a giveaway, maybe it's something promotional or something. That is being targeted. So it's from me to them and going after them. But the biggest thing is, this is a good tip. The biggest thing that's had the most impact for me is when I send my little telegrams. So handwritten telegrams, I have it couriered to their offices. Those are the ones that all my clients said, that worked.
That was amazing. You sent one to me.
Yes, I send them to many.
Yeah, you did. And to receive that, and it's literally like receiving a telegram back in the war days.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of your branding anyway.
Yeah.
And it's handwritten.
Yeah.
And a personalized message.
Yeah.
And I think that has to work.
Yeah. Whenever anyone writes anything about me on LinkedIn and they tag me, and even if I don't know them, I hunt them down and then I send them a telegram thanking them. Yeah.
And do you get many responses from those?
Always.
Yeah,
always. Yeah. And then what they do is then they post it and go, look what I received. And then someone goes, oh, and you got bills? Oh, I want one. And then I go after them. And, because again, we're building our network. Okay. So that's why it's a little tactic from me to you.
Yeah. And I guess that's going to work very well when you're working with a business which is locally based and you're trying to draw in clients from your region. But if you would be sending telegrams to London, you're now doing some work in London. Would you go that far?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There was a customer survey competition. Email won it. And it was I can't remember what they called it, but it was customer survey or something. Best customer service award, whatever. Do you know how they won it? The CEO wrote handwritten cards to every homeowner and then had it sent out. Handwritten.
So I just wrote this down. Human connection. This is what we are losing now as we're moving into AI is writing everything for us and everything is digitalized, or we're on screen, we're on our phones all the time. But this sense of real connection with people and emotional connection, because I think handwritten things gives you a sense of emotional connection to somebody. that's now missing. So I do love this tactic.
Yeah. I mean, if we're trying to build relationships, especially if we're in a service business, this is the time when we need to show who we are.
Yeah.
That's why I post so much crap on LinkedIn about who I am. Because I think if the more people get to know me or see me and feel I'm approachable, the more they're going to start engaging with me. And it's always my posts on my personal life than the business. If I said, top 5 tips how you could grow your business without spending a penny, XYZ, spending a penny, I shouldn't say that. It means something else. God, I told you, it's a thought.
Yeah, that's only in your mind.
and then it comes, I say it. But no, but then when I post something really random, then that gets more impact. Weird, right? Can't work it out. And there's the things that can help you grow your business.
Yeah.
And then the other things are just crap that I come out with.
I know I joined a TV presenter workshop. I don't know if you know Reem, and attended that. The minute I'd signed up, I then received a package in the mail. It was a goodie bag with water
From
bottle.
Reem?
From Reem. With
Really?
a personalised handwritten note.
I wonder where she got that idea from.
I wondered actually when I received that, I thought, that's a very Lucy tactic. I wonder if she works with Lucy. Does she?
I wonder. Not for that project, but
Right. Okay.
other things.
But in
yeah.
any case, what I'm saying here is it felt very personalized. And again, I did want to post it on my social because I felt it was very, unique and special.
Yeah, and we need that. We need that. We're in a saturated market at the moment. There's lots of people professing to do what we do, and we need ways to stand out. And as I said about reaching particular companies and being tactic, it's not enough. As I always say, if we know who we're trying to work with, we know what they look like, we know where they are, we know where they're hanging out, why would you waste so much time on social dancing around trying to attract them? The other thing is nobody lies in bed at night, apart from me thinking about you, but nobody lies in bed at night thinking about you and your business. They don't. So sometimes they don't know that they need your services. You know, those CEOs that need to find their voice. They don't lie in bed going, maybe I should get in touch. They don't. People don't think like that. They don't think like that for my services. So often we have to reach them and start educating them on how this could work for them.
So that's exactly right. You have to basically plant the seed in their mind that they do need it. They know they have some kind of a problem, but they don't necessarily know what that problem is.
And they don't know how to fix it.
That's right. But that's where the kind of marketing that I do, which is more digital marketing, comes in place, that I can position myself in front of them in the moment.
Do you think that'd be a difficult word to sing, digital marketing? How would you sing that word? Didn't we once sing a song that had the word digital in it? And we always got stuck on it.
Digits.
Try and sing it. You couldn't do it.
Right.
Sorry, I've thrown you
You've
off.
completely thrown me off there.
But that's the thing. It's targeted is, as I said, knowing who they are, going after them.
Well, that's how we do it also, but through digital marketing. So knowing where they're searching, what they're searching for, and then being able to position my video ads right in front of them in the moment that they are
what they're
trying
looking
to find the
for.
solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And then again, they might not know what that problem is specifically. They just know they need to fix something. And then by spending more time with you, either in a presentation or eventually getting on a phone call, you can help them to unpack that and lead them in the right direction. So.
There we go. You need to, There we go.
All right, you're talking about getting up and dancing on social media. That's exactly what you are doing all the time at the moment. With
I know.
Your posts, you are Lucy, prima donna ballerina.
I mean, I make no secret of it, but I started ballet when I was 47.
I love that. I love that.
I know. And I dabbled in it. When I was younger, about 10 years, just while I was pregnant, because that's a great time to start ballet, right?
Of course.
And I dabbled in it, and I thought, and I've always loved ballet. I've always loved the look of it, the feel of it, and just loved the aesthetic, to walk around looking like one. And then I just thought, when I got to 47, second divorce, and I thought, no, the time is now. It's now. We need to do it. It's now or never. And went a few classes, and And then it's become a huge part of my life, like 4 times a week.
You're an ambassador for the dance studio.
Yeah, for a Russian ballet studio. Yeah, I think I'm the only British one in there.
Okay.
But they're all Russians, mainly Russians.
But it is inspiring to watch your journey. I've been observing you through
thanks.
social media.
I love it. Yeah,
to see how you've transformed your body, your mind. You're showing up, you're doing performances, and most people would think, well, isn't that the age that most ballerinas would be well and truly over?
Well, that's what David said. My ex-husband, the first ex-husband, he said, "Aren't you 28 years, too late for this?" And I was like, "No, but yes, if you're going to try and really do something with it, but I haven't decided what I'm doing with it yet."
So I'm going to ask you, what's the long-term goal for it?
It's only classical ballet that I'm interested in. I don't mix it with anything else. I think to master every aspect of it, I'd love to do all the exams for it, but there's a lot of work for that. And I don't know. Oh, but there's 2 things I don't like in ballet. I don't like pirouettes. I'm not very good at those. But I'm good at jumping on point now. That's we're doing a show in June, so I'm the only one that can jump on point.
How do your feet handle it? Because most ballerinas really struggle with ruined toes and ruined feet.
No, you can look at them under the table if you like. They're okay. They're bruised. They're okay. I keep everything really short. I don't paint them anymore, which is a bit of a shame. And I broke one a few months ago, and then I went to see a doctor. A toe. And then he said, "Oh, you'll have to stop for a month." I was like, "No way." And I didn't really like what he had to say. So what I did, I just got some gaffer tape, and then I just taped it and went, "There you go," and went back the next day, and then just put more of my weight over this side because it was on this side, and just thought it would be all right in a few weeks.
And was it?
It was all right.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So that's dedication, commitment.
It is, but I don't
up.
really know where it's come from. I really don't. I'm not just saying that to sound strange, but I don't really know where it's come from. The obsession with it.
But you said you were getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm
to
awake
go and
at
train.
5, and then I go, and I only do one-on-one. I don't really do group classes here unless I'm in London, but I don't do group classes here because for no other reason other than there's not many people that are as dedicated as me, perhaps. And look, I'm not going to be dancing with girls, young girls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to happen. The timings don't work. So it's one-on-one all the way. And also if you want to accelerate, like I do, I don't have 5 years to figure out point. I needed it now. And that's why I did it in 6 months. And the average one is a year and a half, 2 years. So I said, no, I'm 47. We need to get this moving. So she goes, well, you have to come every day. And that's what I did.
Good
and it
on
was
you.
so painful. And I remember those we're never going to get there. So 4 steps. How on earth am I going to be able to do that? And I don't know how I got through it. I don't know how. And now I can sit there with drinking, I can stand on point, drinking tea, talking to the teacher whilst on point, and then she's like, you can come down now. And then every Saturday I post it on LinkedIn just to go, look, there you go, a few more seconds. It's incredible.
Yeah. And it is inspiring.
I'm very impressed with myself.
I'll tell you a story. I was going for an audition years and years and years back before I was ever in Dubai for a show called No Nonsense. Mm-hmm. And I had to dance on point.
What? I didn't know you've done this.
Well, let me tell the story. So I had done very little ballet. I think I did a year of ballet when I was doing performing arts school. That was part of what we had to do, as well as contemporary jazz. Wasn't really my thing, but I was challenged by it. So I got into this audition. Have you done ballet? Yes. Okay, can you do a ballet run?
Brilliant. Great.
So I'm prancing around a circle, trying to do this ballet run. And then I had to go on point.
Yep,
I'd
great.
taken my point shoes, never done point before.
Oh,
but
no.
I was the opinion, look, I can do it. I can do it. And they told me, never, ever tell someone or attempt to do ballet if you
Yeah.
have not done ballet before. And I got really scolded in that audition.
Yeah.
It was quite embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really funny, even when you just buy shoes. And the thing is, you can't just buy point shoes on Amazon.
No.
And there's people in our school that have done that. And then they show me videos of themselves on the tiles at home going up and down. And I'm like, oh my God, if you break an ankle, you're out of business for 6 months.
Yep.
And I can't take any risks like that. So now I have a turning mat at home. And even then I don't want to do it, and I've got a lot of strength in these legs. But yeah, I'm very funny about floors.
You mentioned that it had really helped you to get through, a phase of life by keeping you strong, building muscle. And I was just talking in the last episode about building muscle at this stage of our life.
Yeah.
That's the most important aspect to keep us fit and healthy and strong as we move into our future years. Where we don't want to age, but unfortunately every minute's counting.
I mean, I sailed through menopause.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I mean, I completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I deserve some luck.
Yeah.
But I completely sailed through it.
Yeah.
So
and that perhaps also because, as you said, you were focusing a lot on nutrition, on diet, on keeping your body healthy and strong.
Well, I had to keep
And
the
mindset.
Russians happy. You don't.
Well, I
realise that?
guess that's a pretty strong accountability partner, right?
Yeah, they're very nice. Well, one of them's really nice. The other one's quite strict. She's a bit moody, so I get good days and bad days with her. And if she's in a bad mood, she takes it out on me. But I see them all the time, so it's almost like family, really.
Okay, I want to go back to when I first met you, which was about 2009, and I'm pretty sure it was because you reached out to me. You wanted to learn how to sing,
Yeah,
and so we started on a journey of teaching you how to use your voice, singing, to the point that you sang at your own engagement party.
Yes.
Got me to sing, and you came along and did a few songs.
yeah.
And that's why we started this whole session with this very wacky lip roll, because that stems right back to how we first met, which was using the voice and warming up the voice. But I've seen you on a journey of going from being very timid with your voice, wanting to use it, but being very held back, and then to being in situations where you had to lead meetings, events, public speaking opportunities, and you were so withdrawn, so shy. You were not the person to be out there. But now I've watched you over the years. You've really developed a whole newfound confidence and ability to get up in front of an audience and lead a masterclass, to speak at this event.
Yeah.
How have you managed that?
I know. I mean, when I used to run those networking groups, I'd find someone to, I used to do them with Helen Farmer, and I go, you have to do the speaking, I can't do it. And she'd go, yep, no problem. And then she'd go, oh, Lucy's over there. Yeah, that's me. Yep. And that was it. And then one day she didn't turn up. I said, what do you mean you're not coming? Who's going to introduce it? And she goes, well, you're on your own. And it was the biggest kick up the arse ever. And then I started formulating the masterclasses I've been teaching for the last 5 years. And I think a lot of it is a belief in what you're doing. So I really believe in the power of my tactical marketing. That's the niche that I'm in. So no one would come and work with me if they wanted to do something else, if they want to make silly TikTok videos or prance around in other ways on social. That's not me. So being really confident with your product, your service that you offer, having the passion for it, and that was kind of leading the voice, because I'd go, oh, I've got a really good idea. You should do this. And I think, I'm quite good with ideas, but then you've got to articulate those ideas to be heard. And then when I started talking to much bigger audiences, not just here, but in London, running the events for the fintech in front of financial companies, in front of CEOs. So, oh, God. And then the last one I did was with the former head of British intelligence, MI5.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on my LinkedIn. Check the LinkedIn.
I did see, yeah.
And then you're introducing them. It's like, what am I going to say? And just having a really, really a presence. So the idea is that at my events in London that I run for a client, I open the event and then I talk about what we're going to do. And then I hand over to someone else. And they once said, "Oh, you make it so effortless." And I go, "No, in front of your audience, I'm nervous as hell. In front of my audience in Dubai, I don't care what I say." but I think it's being confident in what I'm talking about, that conviction, and practice.
Yes.
Practicing. I mean, I was running masterclasses every month and practicing, and then the audiences get bigger and meetings might get bigger, and and I always say, why talk to one when you can talk to many at the same time? Mm-hmm. And then you've got to project your voice, and be louder and clearer. And then when you want to, I always find there's tricks that I do with my voice. So what I like to do is disarm people. And if I want to talk about something really serious, I might slow it down, because this is where you have to do some work. And then to throw them off, I might come out with something really inappropriate in a different tone, and then I bring it back down to the bit where you need to focus, because we're going to do some work, because growing a business is really hard. And I just sort of change the tone of my voice, and for the crucial bits. And the cost of hiring me is X, Y, Z. So, so it's all about impact. You know this.
100%.
Yeah. So if you've ever sat and listened to someone really boring, which I do most days, there's always someone, and when they're talking in this, like, what's it called? A monotone
voice, where everything is only on the same pace, the same level.
And I didn't get any of that, because it was just so
uninteresting.
Yeah. And I always think, oh,
yes.
Yeah. And you don't listen, and you automatically tune out.
Switch off, because it's repetitive prosodies.
Yeah.
And that means that everything is staying the same. If your pitch is always at the same level, if your pacing is always at the same level, if your volume is always at the same level, your brain will naturally switch off.
Yeah. And it did when I was at a networking event a few weeks back, and they have, like, people can do their elevator pitches, and you switch off. Whereas if someone is sort of jumping around and excited, because, people get, having a passion for something is infectious. People then feel that energy, that vibe, and da-da-da-da-da. But if they're very, and look, it's not for everybody. Any speaking is not for everybody.
Can we do a little exercise?
Yeah.
Okay. So
do I need to make, hang on, I just need to make myself a bit moist. I mean,
want a sip of your coffee?
yeah, exactly. What's the exercise?
Okay, we're going to just do some playing around with your voice. Can you remember a moment when you got a massive shock? And now tell me what that shock was.
I don't know. I just did the noise.
Oh, no, but remember a moment, something that happened to you when you got a huge shock.
Oh, probably finding out the age of somebody younger.
So,
really? You have so much energy. That's a different podcast.
They don't know what we're talking about. But what I'm trying to get you to play with is, where would your voice go? Oh my gosh, I got a shock. So my voice...
The head voice.
It's going to the head voice. You remember from saying...
Yeah, see, I retain information.
And now you said, when something is more serious, what are you going to do with your voice?
Oh, it goes down into the chest.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what else will you do?
I guess you sink a bit.
And slow things down.
So
that it has more gravity and impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't work with me, you're a fool.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what about you're getting up to speak at an event and you have to get the vibe going in the room? Where are you going to position your voice?
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Very good.
Maybe use my hands.
Can you demonstrate where the middle is? Because right now you're still low.
So the middle would be somewhere here. Yeah, because we're not too overexcited. We're about here.
So middle voice, yeah.
Yeah, the
somewhere
middle
around
voice.
the middle. It's a little bit higher the way you would naturally gravitate to speak your everyday conversations.
I can hear it now. Yeah, so is this the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the hands, it really does feel like it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
Very good.
Do you know what I said at the MI5? The biggest event, biggest audience we've ever had. I have a script in my hand to just use as a guide. And of course, I just some housekeeping rules. So, because it's at the RAF club, the prestigious RAF club. Phones on silent, bags and coats need to be checked in for security reasons. But if any of you, just so you all know, because it's a large room today, anyone that needs to use the loo, so if you just out the doors, down the stairs, through the business centre, there's a lovely warm toilet there. And the reason I said warm is because when I walked in earlier, there was like a gush of wind. And it was really nice and cosy. And I was like, I could stay in here. No one would miss me. But no, it was all nice. Because it was winter. It was like February in London. And that's what I said in front of everybody. And the chairman came up to me and went, what was with the warm toilet? But that's the one thing that everyone wanted to talk to me about afterwards. And this woman came up to me. She goes, where's the warm toilet? And I went, did you not listen to the instructions? Out the doors, down the stairs, through the business centre, warm toilet, gush of wind.
So that's a great example of using sort of storytelling techniques or something unique, something different, which is going to grab the attention of your audience. And facts tell, but these sorts of situations, they're sticky. People remember them more than the other boring content, which is happening around that. Yeah. And you're quirky. I've always and you're naturally humorous.
Yeah.
Funny.
I think it's the way to be. I gravitate towards funny people. And I don't feel we have enough variety. I don't feel we have enough people who kind of push, it's like that thought and then it becomes something you say. I don't think we have enough of that here. So, I think we're too worried. People are too worried about offending, upsetting, blending in, being like everyone else. And that's okay with them, but that's not okay for me because the one person I want to make laugh is myself. You know when you say that, you want to go to work happy and you want to wake up happy. I mean, most of the time I don't because it's at 5:00. Oh, that bloody Russian. No offense.
That's the ballet teacher.
That's the teacher. Yeah, bloody Russians. But I want to be happy, and the only way I can do it is to amuse myself. I mean, sometimes I sit at my desk just laughing about stuff, and people are wondering why I'm laughing, but it's because it's come into my head. Maybe I look at the world differently. I
think you do. I'm going to say that. I think.
Yeah, I must do. I think you do. Anyone in a creative space.
Yes.
And it's funny because I've started dating someone whose native language is not English. I don't know what language he speaks. I mean, listen, at my age, you don't ask to look at the passport. You don't ask to look at the passport. I do know. And he said, I think you're really funny. And I was like, but you don't get half of my jokes. He's only seen 20% of my funniness. If he had the whole 100, he could form a really good opinion, but he only sees 20% of it. He's a mercenary. And I'm not joking.
I think this is for another podcast.
That's another podcast, yeah.
All right. I'm going to move on. Personal branding. I think it's becoming more and more important for individuals to establish their own personal brand.
Yeah.
How do you support people with that? Do you support people with that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't work on people's personal brands per se, but more of the marketing of it. Mm-hmm. So if you said, again, trying to reach business owners, businesses, these are the people I'm trying to reach, then I would work on the marketing, how we'd push that forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So
when it comes to a personal brand, then it's usually how we're showing up.
Yeah.
It's part of how we dress, how we speak, and then how we are visible to the world. Whether that's through our LinkedIn profile, through our social media.
And a lot of people out here should be invisible. But I said on another podcast, and I didn't get shut down for this, but I really, truly believe, see, it's the thought, it's coming out now, that only exceptional people will do well. And I think in order to sell, to grow a business successfully in this part of the world, you need to be exceptional.
What makes somebody exceptional?
Somebody who understands who I'm trying to reach. How do I stand out? I've got to stand out. I'm in a competitive space, so I need to do something different. The willingness, the attitude, the mindset, the gravitas, the voice that goes with it, that's going to carry them through this.
And I think that's the problem, is that most people are not prepared to put the work in.
Because they're lazy.
Yes.
And not exceptional. As my ex-husband always says, not the second one, the first ex-husband, he always says, they're pretty average. So we need to be beyond average.
Yeah.
This is my business hat on now. In order to grow a business, sustain a business, find new clients, market, and you do this really well as you're very consistent, with your marketing, it's always there. And it's, as I say, it's a series of nudges. But most people go, well, I've WhatsApped a load of people. That's not marketing. No. That's not being exceptional. That's not standing out. That's not doing anything with their voice. And this is where people are now going more into the personal brand, the speaking, they're putting themselves out there more and more.
Yep.
But you have to.
I believe so too.
You have to. If you want to be an authority.
Yeah. How has that helped you to grow your visibility,
massively,
get more clients?
Massively. If I was still hiding in the back of wherever, or I also changed how I worked with people. I did. If I went, I did this, I do this, I do that, I do that. It's boring.
So become more selective.
So I got more niche, more targeted. This is how I work with people. And of course, with the voice that goes with it, with authority, credibility, visibility, all of the, what is it? Visibility, credibility, profitability. Something like that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so not just for business owners and entrepreneurs, but also for anybody who's wanting to move up the corporate ladder, become more visible in their career progression. You're either average or you're exceptional.
Ladder looks like. I don't think I've ever been in a corporate situation
either, but I do work with a lot of people who are.
Oh, I'm unemployable.
Yes.
So I had no choice but to get to start a business because no one would hire me.
I've been an entrepreneur all my life.
Yeah, I don't know anything
you're an
else.
Entrepreneur. You've got to brand yourself. Actually, that's how I first started understanding just branding or marketing myself, was getting my music out to people.
Yeah.
Having to design my own CD covers because I couldn't afford to have anybody else do them for me. And
that's how we start, because, I make no secret about it when I talk about things on LinkedIn. Getting set up here is hard. It's expensive.
Yes.
It's you can't just have a go at things and have a go at starting things and see if it works without somebody who wants to be self-righteous. Like, you need to do this. You need to have a license. You need a permit. I find out here there's too many no's for my liking. I'd like more yeses.
The acting game, yes and, instead of yes but.
Yeah. Yeah,
we could all adopt that.
Can't we just have yes? I've met a woman recently who has said yes to everything I've asked for.
I had to learn how to say no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of no. When you're an entrepreneur, I don't mean like, what I mean is like how you get things started, how you get things moving. Yeah. Yes, we can reach these people. Yes, we should do something different. That's what I'm talking about. Rather than, it's a bit like my son was jumping up and down on a wall near where we live, and a security guard goes, no, you can't do that. So I went up to him and said, firstly, you shouldn't be approaching my son, but what is the reason for the no? It's a wall. It's a child. It's not like me doing it. Mind you, I'd be more graceful than my son. I wouldn't be able to help myself. I'd point and stand on my feet. And he goes, well, it's not allowed. Yeah, but why is it not? It's a wall. Not particularly high wall, not a particularly great wall. There's nothing on either side of the wall. Why can't he just do that? There's too many no's. We need more yeses.
Well, I was at the beach the other day with our husky. She's a fairly big dog.
Yeah.
And on the signage, it says dogs on leash. So she was on a leash. We were walking the dog and the security comes up. No, madam. No. Not allowed. I said, what do you mean it's not allowed? Dog on leash, as per your sign. Yeah. Oh, no, but that's a big dog. Scary. Not allowed. I said, okay, show me where it says what size we're allowed to bring to the beach on your signage.
Which breeds are allowed.
I'll call my manager. I said, yeah, call your manager. Please do.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
but
too many no's.
Yeah, and I think that's just people not being knowledgeable or not people just, you know, in the wrong position, not having all the facts or being scared themselves in this instance, probably. Oh, scary dog, yeah.
Yeah. Well, all dogs are scary to me because I've got a fear of dogs.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I get very nervous. If there was a dog here, I'd be very nervous.
Where does that come from?
Well, I got bitten by a dog.
Okay.
Had a bad experience with a dog.
Okay. And
That
so
was
now
it.
you're scarred.
That's it. Gone. Done.
You know you can repair that.
Don't want to.
Don't want to.
No, I don't want. I've got enough going on. got enough stuff going on. Don't need to fear it. Just keep it away from me. Yeah, I've got a friend. Whenever we want to go out, he goes, "Is it dog friendly?" How would I know? Why is this my problem to solve?
It's interesting. Once you become a dog owner and a dog lover, all of a sudden your life changes. Your perspectives change on all of these things. I said no dogs for us. And then Emma's very convincing, my daughter, very convincing. She put together a whole presentation
Of why you should have a dog.
and which dog would be the most friendly for our family.
Oh, no.
She got it spot on, though. She did. She's very persuasive.
Yeah,
My
dogs
Emma.
make me nervous.
What else makes you nervous? It could be a leading question.
Much older men. What else makes me nervous? Deep water. Yeah, deep water. Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't really get nervous in business anymore. I don't get nervous in speaking or anything like that anymore.
That's great.
I've kind of really, I've come through, it's a journey of being able to kind of master it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Podcasts can make me a bit nervous. You know, it's like, oh,
Are you doing great?
who's listening? Who's watching?
But that's the thing.
But we're all voyeurs these days, aren't we? You know, it's like car crashes. We like to watch. Well, don't we? Told you.
Not sure where we're going.
but we're all voyeurs. We all, you know, we're consuming more than we've ever consumed,
Yes.
and we're watching everything. We're listening to so much more, but we're not really taking it in. It's just noise,
Yes,
noise,
that's right.
more noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the sort of fears. I think. I don't think I have many fears.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I'm really impressed with your transition and your that's the wrong word.
Transformation.
Transformation.
I'll have a
That's probably-
transformation. Yeah. Can I? Yeah. Transformation. Yeah.
Yes, from where you were to where you are now, and it's inspiring as well as all the other things that you're doing to build on that and build your presence
Yeah.
and your personal brand, brand commander.
Brand commander. I mean, I think that was definitely. I find it's always the smallest things have the most impact, like the title, putting my picture on the business card. So again, people recognize
Yes.
who I am. The follow-up, the telegrams, just that little point of difference. You know, I've got that kind of like 1940s kind of vintage
Yes.
vibe going on.
Very
Hence-
unique.
Yeah, and when I go to a lot of networking events, it's really great when I show the card and I know you, I've seen you on LinkedIn. And when I went to London, which is, you know, obviously I don't live in London, but I spend a lot of time in London. The one thing that a lot of women there wanted to talk about, and it was an event I was hosting for my clients, it's not necessarily my audience, as it were, but they all wanted to talk about the ballet. Oh, we've seen your ballet journey. Oh, we've seen you on LinkedIn. What's the story with the little hat with the flower and sort of connecting all those dots. And that's what we should all be doing with our brands. You know, you want to walk into a room where everybody knows you. Isn't that a great
Yes,
feeling? You know,
absolutely.
I know who you are.
Yeah,
You're the
I've
person that
seen
does
you.
X, Y, Z.
Yes.
And I went to an event and everybody knew who I was.
Amazing.
And it's funny. And I met someone the other week, and she said she was targeting very similar people to me, because she had no follow up, no business card, no nothing. But we must have connected on LinkedIn, and she sort of was reeling off all these things that she'd seen in my newsletter, this and that. And because I noticed you did a Swan Lake thing on video. Yes, every week I do it just to annoy people more than anything. And I knew nothing about her.
Yeah.
Nothing. So there was no card, there was nothing. Obviously we connected on LinkedIn at the time.
Yes.
And obviously I had her email address. But once they go into that data, then unless they're doing something back.
Or something unique that stands out.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not enough of that going
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
We have to stand out. These are saturated market conditions. We have to stand out. We have to find ways. We have to find our voice.
There we go.
There you go.
Yes. Great way to end this podcast. Thank you for being on, Lucy. Okay. People need to follow you, find you, work with you. Where do we find you?
For a sensible approach would be LinkedIn, Lucy Bradley. And if anyone wants to be bored endlessly by my ballet journey and all the other rumblings that go on, this is Lucy Bradley, my Instagram.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
we're going to put all the links in the show notes below and how we can reach out to you if anybody is interested to work with you or learn more about your brand commander and your marketing strategies and style. And great to have you on the show. Thank you so
much. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Impact Through Voice podcast. Now, if you've reached the end of this episode, then it means you're enjoying the podcast. So I have a quick favor to ask. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go and do it now and even leave us a review because it really does help us so much to reach more people and impact more people. And I would be very, very grateful. Now, I love to read all of your comments about the show and what you're enjoying, what you would like to hear more of. So please take the time and go and do that now. When you do that, please take a screenshot and then tag me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Lisa Hugo Official. Now, I'm going to be sure to share your post and I'm also going to private DM you with a thank you. And it also means you won't miss an episode. And as a subscriber, then you're going to get access to more content that we don't even open up to everybody. So thanks again. And until next time, keep on working towards your goals and making a positive impact on the world with your voice.